Hello there. Thanks so much for joining me today. I'm Colleen Klimczak. I'm an organizational and productivity coach and a certified professional organizer. I own Peace of Mind Professional Organizing, LLC. Since 2003, I've been helping my clients live better lives through organizing and organizational and productivity coaching. I support my clients and my community with coaching, in-person and virtual organizing, my weekly podcast called Your Organized Life with Colleen Klimczak, a free weekly virtual productivity session called Finish Line Friday, a free weekly email newsletter, and regular content on Facebook and Instagram. I also offer presentations and professional development to groups and companies. And coming soon, I look forward to launching my membership circle to support my community with even more coaching and productivity content. Want to finish strong with me this week? Join me for Finish Line Friday every Friday morning at 9 a.m. Central for a 2-hour productivity session. Drop me an email at colleen@peaceofmindpo.com or follow the Zoom room link on my Instagram or Facebook pages. Welcome to Your Organized Life, episode 90. It feels kind of strange today because I usually record on Monday and it is Friday. So the fact that I just talked up my Finish Line Friday session and I actually just finished my Finish Line Friday session about an hour ago is kind of funny to me. So a shout out to everybody who's on that call with me every week. We have a really great and supportive community. I think our top number was 10 or 11 today, and we just get a lot done in that time. So check it out if you want. I also wanted to give a shout out to a friend and client. I was working with a friend and client yesterday, and she mentioned that her sister sent a picture of the podcast and a cup of coffee, and they both are clients and friends of mine. So I just love that, and I hope she knows who she is. I just thought that was such a great image, though. So I want to talk about something today that might be controversial. Okay, it's not really controversial unless you're a professional organizer, I guess. I don't know if I've ever said this in a blog article, and I'm pretty sure I have not said it in a podcast episode, but here's a bold statement. Are you ready? Multitasking is a myth. It is. And I'm saying this as a person who spends most of her days doing what looks a lot like multitasking. The real irony is that I started writing the content while driving because I record it as a voice memo to just transcribe later. And I finished editing it while hosting my Finish Line Friday productivity session this morning. It looks a lot like multitasking, I know, but it's not. And let me explain. When we think we are multitasking, we are really switch tasking. This term was first introduced to me by Dave Crenshaw, and I just want to give credit where credit is due. So look it up if you want. So unless we truly are just walking and talking, or watching TV and eating popcorn, or riding in a car and watching the scenery, our brain is actually switching back and forth between tasks. So the point is, multitasking is a myth. Our brains truly are not capable of doing multiple things at the same time well. We can't do them well, right? We can do a few things maybe, but we can't do them well. At least depending on the different types of tasks. So again, perhaps I can drive and also take a call, but I'm not doing either of those things as well as I should. And certainly, I shouldn't be doing both while I'm driving in a congested area where I also need to pay attention to the navigation a little bit more closely. So I have absolutely ended calls with people, or I just don't even answer my phone because sometimes, I recognize that my brain can't necessarily do those two high focus things at once. It's not that we can't do multiple things at once. It really depends on the complexity or severity or the type of action. I can chat with my husband while we take a walk. I can cook and listen to music. I can wash the dishes or clean the house and talk to somebody on the phone. We can do multiple things at once as long as one of them is a pretty low focus, low energy type of task. However, with high level thinking and focus, we just can't multitask. So again, what's occurring in your brain is switch tasking. And switch tasking is what it sounds like. We are switching our focus. And every time we switch our focus, we have to refocus on the thing in front of us now. And then when we switch back, we have to refocus again on this new thing that was the old thing that we're refocusing on again now. See how it gets confusing? So I don't know about you, but I know that there are some days that I can focus easily and also switch easily. And that there are also some days I can't switch easily or refocus easily. And what that means to me is that my capacity to focus is a limited commodity and can be used up over the course of a day or a week. Like our energy and our time and our decision-making capacity. Those three things, too, are also needed to get things done and are also finite resources that can get used up more quickly on some days than others. My ability to switch and refocus is finite, and it can be affected on some days by external factors like my quantity and quality of sleep the night before, or how noisy my workspace is, or how often my phone is chiming at me with notifications. Switch tasking requires focus, energy, brain space or bandwidth, whatever you want to call it, and it uses these up faster than just regular tasking, if that's a word. There may come a point, and some days earlier in the day than others, when we can't switch tasks successfully anymore. We are not as productive as we want to be or should be. We can use up all that focus and energy and time, and then it's gone. We can deplete the well. We empty the wallet. We can use all the water in the jug, and it's empty. And we won't have more until we take a break and replace it somehow. We can switch back and forth, but at what price, right? What's the cost? And so I would like to propose that there is a better way. We can, at least sometimes, focus fully on what we've got going on in front of us and similar tasks to that, so our brain doesn't have to keep switching. Yes, let's work on that, right? If we can get more done, and more importantly, we can get things done without completely depleting our brain. Recently with a client, we were discussing batch working. I love batch working. So this particular client has a lot of different tasks that she needs to take care of. I mean, don't we all? There are things that need to be done, and the sheer quantity of tasks is overwhelming to her. And also, the variety of tasks is overwhelming. And right now, she only sees them all together. She is not seeing them as prioritized or categorized. She's not seeing them in any of those ways. She's just seeing them all at once, and it's so overwhelming to her. And at this moment, for a couple of reasons, she is depleted of energy and bandwidth already, and she's finding it even more difficult than ever to get things done. She and I worked on papers together and recognized, too, that her papers are a representation of the tasks that she needs to complete. Papers are also time management, in this case especially. She might have a medical bill that needs to be paid, but she also needs to call the doctor and ask a question. So each paper that we were coming across represented a couple of different things to her. She was seeking a way to categorize broad categories of the paper and actions because she knew that multitasking wasn't working and that categories would make more sense for her. So again, we talked about batch working. We talked about grouping similar papers and therefore tasks together, like putting all the bills to pay in one place, and then putting a date on the calendar or an appointment for a couple hours every week to get the bills paid. Or how she has follow-up tasks for a legal challenge that she's got going on. And so she needs to put an appointment on the calendar every week for making calls or following up until progress is made. Batch work can occasionally offer synergies or economies of scale, meaning when we group the tasks together, they end up taking far less time than they would if we did each separately. For example, reviewing the legal papers and making one call to the attorney and asking multiple questions at once saves this particular client time and money. Having these tasks or similar tasks is inevitable, right? So how do we do them better? How do we do them with less stress? How do we do it so we're not depleted at the end? how do we set ourselves up to succeed? Because let's face it, it's possible that we switch tasks so often in a work session that we never actually accomplish or complete anything. We feel like we're working like crazy, but nothing ever actually gets done. And, I am a big fan of done. Yay for done. So if we are working towards done or accomplished or completed, let's think in batches. We can do things so they actually get all the way to done. Conversely, we can also do batches of work in an assigned time and say that's good enough. We can get as done as we can for today and then move on to a different type of task. For example, I don't get to sit and do 12 hours of money and bill paying in a day. It just doesn't usually work that way, right? What's more useful to me is smaller batches of the variety of categories, meaning maybe I do a batch of home maintenance tasks in the morning, like starting laundry in the dishwasher. And I do those after a batch of personal hygiene tasks, like taking a shower and brushing my teeth. I may remember while showering that I need to pay a bill, but I'm not going to be writing checks while I'm in the shower, right? We can see that that's silly, but we absolutely try to do these kinds of things at the same time. So let's not do that. Let's do one thing or one type of batch of things until they're done right. The personal hygiene tasks, and then I'm done and ready to move on. And then house tasks, and then I'm done. And then a handful of kitchen tasks, like make my coffee and take my vitamins and pack my lunch. And then I'm done. Those are all batches, and they're obvious. So let's look at the rest of our tasks in batches as well. Instead of switch tasking or asking more of my brain than you need to, we can absolutely put those different tasks that we need to accomplish together in batches and just think, bill paying thoughts or money thoughts or house management thoughts. In my company, I have 4 different focus areas or income streams. Knowing that, I will batch all of my speaking engagement tasks together, following up on upcoming presentations, printing copies of my handouts, sending invoices. And then once those are complete, with my calendar on my screen, I will batch client scheduling tasks and emails. And when those are done, I might shift then to writing and content creation tasks, whatever those look like. But instead of having to switch back and forth and manage my focus like that, I can do all of those different things in a batch. I don't have to keep switching my focus and my energy. I can save that for things later in the day, or I can just do them with more ease. And I know that's what I'm working towards. So let's recap. Multitasking is a myth. Sorry. Switch tasking is real and doable and can be useful, but may also use up our focus and energy and other resources faster than regular work. Therefore, if you're tired of switch tasking and or want to give another strategy a try, experiment with batch work to work with your brain and help you get more done with less hassle. Give it a try. So support around getting things done is what productivity coaching is all about. If it's time to invest in yourself and explore coaching for organizing and productivity, I would love to hear from you. Drop me a line via email at colleen@peaceofmindpo.com or message me through any of my social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, or LinkedIn. Thanks so much, and talk to you next week.